Easy on the beat, we could this shit.
Run on the court, yo, I knock down my shots though. Feeling the love like I'm winning the lotto. They call me Castro, but feeling like Pablo. Smell of the gas cause I push down the throttle. Tables and bottles, mobbing with models, spitting the...
Hey, what's going on, guys? Will Alva from Alva Fitness over here, and today we're going to go over the ring muscle up. Muscle up is made up of 3 movements: the pull up, the transition, and the dip. And before you attempt any muscle ups, you should be able to do at least 8 explosive pull ups and at least 8 ring dips. For attempting the muscle up, you need to do at least 8 explosive pull ups. And an explosive pull up looks something like this. Start at the bottom, regular grip, and pull it as fast as you can and with as much power as you can, and slowly let down. So just up, down, up, down, up, down. So the next movement you need to be able to do is the ring dip. And the ring dip looks something like this. So you'd start at the top, palms turned out at the top, and then lower yourself as deep as you can. And you want to be able to do a really deep ring dip, because when you're doing a muscle up, you get to this position, you pull up from the pull up position, and then you're starting off really, really deep. So if you can do dips, but you can only dip down to here, you need to get that all the way to the bottom before you can do any muscle ups. So the transition is where the muscle up really comes together, and the transition is the part that everyone struggles with. A lot of people can do 8 explosive pull-ups and 8 ring dips, but they can't master the transition. And the key to mastering the transition is mastering the false grip. So normally when you jump up on the rings, you just grab them like this with your hands over, fingers over the bar. But with the false grip, you need to sort of falsely grab it. So you're grabbing it with your wrist more than your hands. So to learn the false grip, you're going to want to grab the ring right here, wrap your hand around it, and then turn it so your wrist is bent over the ring. That way you can explode from the pull-up position and get into the dip position. So one thing you want to get good at before doing any muscle ups is just false grip pull-ups, because if you can't do any false grip pull-ups, you can't do any muscle ups. So with false grip pull-up, get nice and tight in the false grip, get your wrists over it nice and tight, locked in, then just bang them out like that. And you want to make sure that you're bringing the rings as close into your body as you can. It's much, much harder if you bring the rings out here to make the transition. This is where the transition happens, when the rings are nice and close to your chest. When they're far out, it's way harder, as you can see, to get on top of it than it is when they're in nice and close. And it's also really bad for your shoulders doing it out here. So this is the zone you want to be in. So the transition is the most complicated part of the muscle up. That is the key to the muscle up, putting the 2 movements together with the transition. So to learn the transition, start off, lower your rings a little bit, and just go through the movement of the transition. And you want to pull up to your chest and pull the rings real close into your chest, and then turn them and shift your body weight forward and keep your elbows tucked behind you. And you really want to pull your elbows back. Push them behind you rather than turning them out to the sides, because that causes shoulder impingement and it can just mess you up completely. And the movement is almost like you're ripping open a button-down shirt, like you're Superman. So you pull up, rings to your chest, turn them out, unbutton that button-down shirt, drive your elbows back and shift your body weight forward, and then you're in the bottom of the dip, and then you dip up, and that's your muscle up. Gone over all the components of the muscle up. We're going to go over some beginner variations to help you build up to more reps and build up to your first muscle up. So the first one we're going to go over is this one right here. So you want to start off sitting on the ground, and the higher you have the rings, the harder it will be. The lower you have the rings, the easier it will be. So when you're first learning, you want to have the rings nice and low, maybe even a bit lower than this right here. And then as you get better, as you can get more reps, as it becomes too easy, you raise the rings, and then eventually you'll have them in the full outstretched position. So start off sitting down, get your false grip nice and locked in, and then pull up, and then do a muscle up. Alright, so once you've mastered the muscle up, it's becoming easy, you're getting bored with it. There's a few things you can do to make it harder. And the first thing you can do, bring your knees up to your chest. And this changes the leverages and makes the muscle up way harder. So you just pull up, knees out, and do a muscle up like that. This is the most advanced version. So you start off, same thing, bring your knees out and then straighten out your legs. Just like that. So we've gone over all the components of the muscle up, the explosive pull up, the ring dip, the false grip pull up, and the transition. Once you got all those down, you put them together, it should look a little something like this. Those are muscle ups.
Easy on the beat, we could.